Hello everyone, this is Angush from Team Curse. I play top lane and I'll show you a quick guide how to actually use the Jax in top lane. So firstly, I will start by how to max the skills. Uh, since the jungle changes on Season 3, you can't leash anymore, but you can try to help your jungler and by tanking the blue buff or red buff with a counter strike and getting no damage. So you could start with the E counter strike and get some nice help from jungler, and by the time you get into laning phase or the actual lane against any champion, you should have the dodge because it helps you uh, avoid the unnecessary damage and maybe out juke him and land some auto attacks on him. Second, I would get the leap strike because you can jump and land the combo or land some auto attacks, and that's pretty good skill. And then I would start by maxing and all the way to the level 9 uh, with a W. Why? Because it resets your auto attack and that's your main skill. Of course, you will take ultimate every time you can and max Q afterwards and E last because Q will have less cooldown and W will have less cooldown too, while E doesn't really scale that well because you want to be mobile and jump around. We'll jump into the game and start by picking Jax and talking about his masteries and runes a bit.
Let's do this.
Here in this guide, of course here too, uh, I start with the health regen, attack damage, armor and glyphs of magic resist. Why health regen? Because I don't think you may need additional AD since you have auto attack resetter, and when you don't have dodge you may need to somehow survive a bit of laning phase because you don't have built-in sustain, and the actual lifesteal is being, the cost has been increased. Well, of course you get AD marks for the better exchanges and to last hit easier armor seals because of the top lane. You have to maybe tank creeps even though you can't anymore that well, and magic resist for glyphs because junglers and most of top laners also deal the magic damage. For masteries, I would go improve to your summoner spells, cooldown reduction because it's better than attack speed and gold wise, and armor penetration because you have to attack more. In defense, I go for health regen, armor, block damage from champions, slow reduction, flat health, additional health, cooldown reduction, and honor guard for reduced damage taken. You skip this mastery as it was good, but not anymore for top lane. Why? Because you actually can't tank creeps anymore, because it says it reduces damage only taken from monsters, and monsters are creep. I don't know how to say creep monsters, and in lane there are minions. So that could be a problem, but it's being solved by actually implementing the more move speed to every champion and reducing the actual move speed from boots given at level 1. So you can start with cloth armor. Of course, you could start with longsword, but I believe cloth armor is the way to go. Plus 5 potions. So even if you can't tank, you can still regenerate, and in the end, it's quite the same. Afterwards, like level 4, 5, maybe you can go back and buy Doran's Blade, because still, even if though it's a bit changed, by mats, you still get quite the same HP unless you have, I mean, back on auto attack with this passive of Doran's Blade, unless you have really high AD, and but by that time in the old patch you were already about to sell the Doran's Blade. Then you get Boots of Speed, and then you can go for either Phage or just HP Crystal or straight Vampiric Scepter. Depends what you actually need for the lane. If you need to survive the actual burst and then just keep on pushing, or you need to actually like go for trades and sustain. Uh, Here you actually don't see that the icon of Blade of Ruined King, but here in game, you can see it here. So for the actual late game or mid game build. For mid game build, I would go for a straight Trinity still, and then getting Vampiric Scepter, and afterwards maybe Blade of the Ruined King, or still for uh, the Guardian Angel. Why? Because Guardian Angel is still the one that makes a turnaround in a team fight. Afterwards, when you get Trinity Force plus Blade of Ruined King, you can choose between, you either need some like attack speed and like cooldown reduction because it's really good stat, and tenacity, or you may need to survive the actual burst, so you get Hex Drinker and then go for more Morches. I didn't really test against the Rageblade yet, and if I'll have good news about it, I'll definitely update it. So actually, how you want to fight with the checks here on pros and cons. Let's say I wrote that I have OE stun. So by OE stun, it means that I can stun multiple targets. So you can jump into with a Q, you can jump with like almost activated E, and by the time you land, you can just instantly stun enemies. Plus, he's good duelist because of his ultimate procs. It deals an additional damage, plus it has armor and magic resistance depending on your MR and I mean AD and AP. Um, his cons would be that he relies on attack speed, but even if you're playing against Malphite, having something like Zephyr, I guess it should make you not worry about your actual attack speed. And also, if you have Trinity Force with the Sheen proc and your ultimate proc, you can actually, let's say, attack creep 2 times and then jump on someone with a Q and ultimate and Sheen, let's say, I mean ultimate proc and Sheen from W, and let's say, of course, Sheen procs from Q. The point is that you will deal lots of damage. And with Cloth Armor, let's see, Doran's Blade, and let's say you go for Sheen instead of Phage, you still will be quite durable, while at the same time you will deal lots of damage. So that's it for this guide. I hope I helped you, and see you in the next one.